There were thousands detained, and in Moscow jails were overcrowded, so most of the detained here were placed in a special detention facility outside Moscow nearby a village, Sakharova, and this detention center now is known as Sakharova Detention Center. So at first people had to wait for hours and even days in police vans waiting for their turn to be checked in, and after they had to be placed in the so-called waiting cells designed for 8 people, but they were placed there by 20 or 30. And now there are reports that people are in normal cells, but their relatives are queuing there to give them water or some other things that they need. And there are also reports that those who are supposed to be released are still waiting to be released and are urging to make sure that they are released. And there are many activists here in Moscow who unite themselves, and now they say that they have to do everything possible to help those who are released to get out of there, to catch a taxi or bring them back to Moscow by car.
Galina, considering this, do the protesters and the protest movement seem to be deterred? And have we had any information, any kind of response from the Kremlin?
Well, actually, the Kremlin said that all what has happened was, let's say, the responsibility of those who took part in illegal protests. Journalists asked the Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov if we could talk about repressions in Russia, and he said that there were no repressions at all, that the system was just not ready for such a big number of detained, and that everything was under control. And he repeated that those who took part in illegal actions, those are the responsible for what is happening right now. We know that there will be no more protests. The only person from Navalny's headquarters, Leonid Volkov, who is not under house arrest or under arrest, who is in Berlin, said that protests will maybe take part in spring or summer, and that they want to prepare for the elections, parliamentary elections, and install the smart voting system. But knowing that the authorities have put many law enforcement in the centers of Moscow and St. Petersburg over this weekend.